Do you ever feel as if sitting down to draw is kind of scary? As if just the thought of starting this activity fills you with anxiety and fear? Yeah, it's time to draw. It's time to show everyone that I'm an idiot. Oh yeah, I love drawing. Straining myself for hours so I can make something no one likes. I can't get enough. If there is a feeling of dread before you start an activity, then you are probably burned out. A word which would make no sense to a younger version of myself. Burnout? That sounds silly. If you're burned out, all you need to do is wait it out, right? And well, actually, I've felt this way for a long time, but it's been so long, but it's just become normal. So it's normal now. I can't be burnt out, which I'm not, by the way. I'm not burnt out. First step to being burnt out is admitting to it, which you will never catch me doing. Checkmate, I'm unburnable. So what's so bad about a burnout? And the reason is because a burnout will mentally reshape how you view an activity from now on. Will a burnout heal with time? Yes, but how you then come back to that activity will have changed. Taking breaks is good, but if you're constantly taking breaks because you're constantly burnt out, you are teaching yourself to hate what you are doing. As humans, we tend to take negative experiences pretty seriously. We need to learn from experience what to avoid, and so we take experiences that cause us stress and anxiety and take quick notes on how to avoid it in the future. And another problem with this is that negative experiences can feel as if they invalidate positive experiences. If I have been burnt out over and over again by drawing, am I going to remember how much fun I've had drawing, trying something new, being creative? No, I'm going to remember the worst experiences I've ever had pursuing drawing, and I'm going to think about the amount of stress and anxiety this activity has cost me. And it would only be natural at that point that I find myself again and again just not wanting to do it, needing constant breaks, procrastination, trying to build up the courage to draw, or just outright quitting. So, okay, maybe I'm a bit burnt out, but how am I supposed to fix that? Is burnout simply caused by doing something too much? Overload? Too much pressure? Too much stress? Yes. Why did I say it like that? Number one, we need to reassociate positive things with the activity we have burnt out on. Have you developed expectations of yourself that are unreasonable? What kind of artist do you want to be? And once you get to drawing, do you start to procrastinate because you get anxiety or stressed about if you're doing things the right way? If you're continually stressed or putting yourself down as you're drawing, it's natural that you're going to build up burnout and become very averse to drawing. And we need to rethink these things a bit. But trying to solve problems and rethink these things while we're stressed can also lead us a bit astray, where we feel that anxiety before drawing, overburdened by expectation, and we decide what we actually need is more things that give us anxiety. What I actually need before drawing is deciding on what my art style should be for the rest of my life, or some strong goal that is going to shape my path from now on and lead me to guaranteed success, or some strong motivation that will keep me motivated to draw forever. Replace my burdens with more burdens. What could go wrong? So instead of building up all these ideas of what kind of artist you should be and what you should draw and how to pursue art, it might be a better idea to remove all of these things that you've built up about what you are supposed to be and what you have to do and what your art has to look like. Is the ideal version of you an artist who is extremely specific with what they do out of obligation, or someone who does things because it comes naturally to them? That's up to you. Number two, are you able to prioritize your problems? Are you a very serious person? Do you treat every problem in your life with utmost seriousness, even if you don't want to be like that? Does every tiny thing feel like it's going to affect everything and needs immediate answers? And does solving these problems actually cause an infinite amount of more problems that need answers? And we might treat all of these issues as if our lives depend on it, or as if all of these questions are going to have huge consequences. But is it possible that you suffer from being unable to prioritize your problems? You might have a lot on your mind that you treat with the utmost seriousness, but if you took the time to think about where you would scale these problems on a scale from 1 to 100, you might actually end up giving most of these problems a 1. Are you constantly comparing yourself to other artists? Do you never feel good enough? Well, really, if you were to scale this problem, how important is this? Do you have to be like anyone else? It's up to you, but I definitely get caught in the trap that every single thing that comes to my mind needs to have an easily solvable answer, without really considering, is this worth my time? Most problems are simply not that important, but the things that we mentally construct surrounding each problem might make it seem more serious. Number 3. When the only tool you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Are you a deeply analytical person? Because a problem with trying to approach creative fields while being analytical is the assumption that all of your problems can be solved this way. How do I find the best solution for how to work, why I should work, and what is the best way to do work? However, just like a basketball player can't become a professional by reading books, you can't become a better artist by only thinking about it. A lot can be learned through observation, but most of drawing solutions are found through practice. Because as you draw, you will have small revelations that will over time form a network of solutions. Things that can't be accounted for by trying to think everything through. You can't really plan for what unexpected solutions you will find. That's why practice is invaluable. It might even lead you to throw everything you have thought out the window. It is okay to be analytical, but a better approach might be that you analyze things after you have done the practice or after you have finished the work. And it's worth considering, are you planning things out because you are trying to avoid burnout? And are we really handling burnout in a good way if we're just making plans for how to deal with continually being burnt out over and over again? So, finally, it is really important that we recognize when we are beginning to burn out, because facing burnout is not a good solution. It's only going to repeatedly impair your ability to work on your craft. And to be clear, it's okay to put everything into something, put all of your energy and effort into it, and do whatever you can to get it finished on a deadline. Because sometimes that is the reality of work. But if we are constantly doing this, putting everything we have into it all of the time, then it's unrealistic that we will be able to keep up with working. And it's important to ask, what changes can be made to make things sustainable? You might not be surprised to hear that this is based on my own life experience, not just on art, but I've been burned out on many things I've pursued in life. And it's easy to imagine that this is a permanent state. Well, my interest or hobby in this thing is done for. I've lost the passion that I had. It's over forever. And now that I've stopped doing it, I have become a meaningless person. But it's okay to take breaks. You can stop for however long you feel like and start again later, however many times you like. You will keep all that you have learned, and you might come back with a better perspective. Never-ending burning passion is great, but if your passion turns into an obligation, then it's no wonder that you're going to burn out. I love chocolate, cheese, and green tea, but the easiest way to make me hate these things would be to force me into enjoying these things out of obligation. In a similar way, if our goals, accomplishments, and expectations have turned into obligations, then we're probably going to reach a point where everything feels out of reach, and we might not even know what we want out of art anymore. So lessen your obligations. Remove what you are expecting from yourself. If you can be happy being yourself, doing nothing, then you're probably in a good place, not afraid to do anything.